What's up guys, we got a 2016 Mercedes CLA. It's in for front disc and pads. So have a look at the video. I'm going to show you exactly how we get it done and what you need to do. Right, so we've got the wheels off. First thing what we want to do is marry up the new discs. Here we've gone for Brembo vented disc. We want to make sure that whatever has come off is the exact same specification going back on. Best way to marry up is check your overall diameter and thickness. So that thickness across there, basically it's the exact same disc, it's like for like. What we're going to do is we're going to undo this. This is a locator bolt. This makes sure that it stays on the hub located so that we can line up with our wheel nuts. Once that has been loosened off, we're going to put this entire thing onto a full lock, take the caliper assembly off, including this carrier, and then we can start stripping down, cleaning up and refitting the new brakes. So have a look at this. There we go. So that is our locator nut. That is what's holding on this disc. So now you can see that disc has got a bit more movement. That's ready to come off. We're going to undo our brake sensor here. So we always want to make sure that we're replacing the brake sensor every time we change those pads. And to remove this caliper, we're going to undo these top bolts. That will allow this caliper to either slide or completely come off, and then we take off this carrier so we can get to the disc as well. And then this up is going to be tight because we're going in from this direction. Okay, so your usual righty tighty lefty loosey, if you went up, that would tighten it. So in fact you need to go down because this is coming out. So what we just do is get that loosened off. What I like to do is just loosen it to begin with, not fully remove it, and then we can loosen the other side as well. And then once we have them both loose, we can just fully undo that nice and easily. So that is our retaining bolt, slider bolt for the calipers. And that there is where our caliper will move in and out with that piston as those pads were. We have that removal now. So now we have our caliper fully removed. This is our carrier and we've got our pads now exposed. What we want to do is remove those pads by sliding them out from this carrier. So now if we pry the pad out, we have our pad now fully removed. This is our brand new pad where you've gone for the Brembos. You can see a difference there in thickness. So this is our wearing material. This is our friction surface which is gonna meet and mate onto the discs. You can see the difference. This is all out. Literally another 2,000 miles that would have scraped right directly onto the disc. So you can literally see the life of this pad. Get that other one out. And this is why the light has not yet come on, indicating to the driver that those brake pads are low, because this side, the internal pad, has actually got a bit of life in there, probably about 2 mil. Is still slightly over that friction material, which then once that wears out, it's going to get into creating a signal from that disc pad meeting onto this sensor. So before we go any further, what we want to do is make sure that this caliper is fully secure and safe. What I like to do, there's enough space here, we can actually just hook that onto our spring. This is a McPherson strut, so there's actually some space there between the shock and the spring assembly. What we can do is put that there. Using a cable tie is going to ensure that that stays exactly where it is, so you can do that as well. Number one, what we want to make sure is that we're not causing any stress on this brake line or excessive forces or bending or putting any kind of kinks into that line. So if you can keep that as straight as possible, put that up there with a cable tie. We're going to keep that secure, and then that gives us full access to the carrier to make sure that we can remove this carrier safely and then get that disc off. So now that we can remove this carrier, what we need to do is take off these two retaining bolts. A lot of vehicles, they're just using standard spanners, standard bolts. In this Mercedes CLA, you're going to need an E-drive. E-drive basically looks like this. It's like a star or multi-pointed star. This is what we call an E-drive. This particular vehicle is using an E18, so that is an 18 fitment. Okay, once that's on there, you've got two retaining bolts. Those come off. Once they come off, you're literally good to go. That will allow you to just basically remove this entire carrier. Cool. So on inspection, this disc was removed. That is within specification for Mercedes. In terms of wear, what we can do is, if we see our brand new disc, we've got our drilled holes. This is for just heat dispersion, ventilation, and you can see one here is more like a dimple. Okay, this dimple is actually doubles down as an indicator that when that becomes smooth, then you're at the minimum requirement in terms of your disc thickness. So the customer on this particular vehicle has then decided to give it one more life of pads. So this is well in spec. If we have a look here, you can see that hole is right there. So we still have that, still got loads of life on there. So it's always worth cleaning up those. So what we're going to do is just change the pads for the customer. What you can see here, in order to change those pads, we just grease up our friction points, which is going to be on the sliders there. So that allows this pad to slide in and out. And then this has been fitted. This is our wear indicator sensor. The direction of this sensor, the wires are on the inside. It plugs in here and goes into the pad. So therefore this pad has to go on the outside. That cannot be fitted here, because as you can see, this will end up curling. And with that curl there, we can actually end up wearing the wires or getting trapped or creating other issues. So this pad actually has to live on the outside, and that will then plug into the sensor there. Okay, so those pads go in here. There we go. So you can see there's copper grease there and there. That allows that to slide in and out, and you can see loads of life on that pad. Again, we just put some copper on those wear markers. This again will allow that to slide smoothly. This has already been cleaned with a wire brush as we were inspecting, and that then goes on the inside. And then what I like to do is give it a little bit of copper grease on the inside of the pad. Just a very light coat there. And that is just to ensure that the metal of the piston inside of that caliper does not corrode onto this pad. Okay, so they do actually have a soft material on there, which is for that metal to metal contact, just for anti-corrosion, but it's always a good idea to put a bit of that on there as well. So once those pads are in there, what we have to do is get this caliper back on. In order to get the caliper back on, we're going to need this piston to close, because this has over time pushed out as these pads have worn down. Okay, so there's a few ways that we can do this. So I'm going to turn that so you can see. There's a few ways we can bring that in. Number one, we can use brake wind back tool. Okay, what this does is it goes in there, it creates pressure against one end and it pushes the piston in. What we want to do is, in order for this to push in, it's going to push all your fluid back, brake fluid. So you can either undo this bleed nipple or you can undo the cap at the top. For the purpose of this video, we're going to actually use what I like to call the T-Rex. Okay, because a lot of you guys at home, you might be doing some DIY work. You may not have access to one of these brake winding kits. And because this is not a twisting type or a winding type piston, it can actually be pushed in. What we do want to do is make sure that we're doing that very slowly, making sure that no pressure is trapped in the lines. So for me, what I've done is I've undone the brake reservoir cap at the top, but as I said, you can undo the brake nipple as well. That's another method. Okay, the reason I like to just do it from the top using the cap is because then we do not lose any fluid. So what you're going to see here is I'm going to create some space, and slowly we're just pushing that piston using very minimum effort, very slowly, allowing that piston to slowly get back in. So you can see that there. Literally should use 2 fingers worth of pressure, very light. As that closes, might need to adjust. So we always have the tool square with the piston, and then again, just closing that piston all the way. And that's in. So now what you can see is our piston is all the way in. What we do as well, we just inspect the rubber seal, making sure there's nothing there. Always a good idea while we're here to just give it a quick clean. So clean off that surface area. So we have a nice smooth area there. And this area is going to meet with this pad. So the piston will push into this pad, and then these two are going to meet here. So same thing, just like we wanted that anti-corrosion, we want to make sure that we just put a bit of that copper grease here and here. Okay, good tip, save it till last, because if you got that full of copper, it's just going to have loads of stones and dust and everything stuck to it, or you might end up touching it. So now we have got our system ready to go. So we just put that pad through, close those, and now we can see this is ready to be assembled. Got that in there as well. And then we put in our original, depending the brand you're using of pads, you may actually get brand new caliper bolts. Okay, I personally always think it's a good idea to reuse the old bolts, just because you know the threads are exact. Sometimes when you're using a different brand or patterned parts or something that is not Mercedes or vehicle specific, those threads might be different. What we do not want to do is create an issue with cross threading. So what we're going to do is put that all back together now. Just hand tight at the top and hand tight at the bottom. Once that's hand tight, we can lock that further, just so we know it meets. And then once that's hand tight there and there, what we're going to do is just push on the pedal. That piston will push out against the pad to create less friction. Once you have less friction there, we don't have this movement, we can get a torque wrench on these and get those tightened to specification on the vehicle. Always good idea to do that once you have pumped that pedal, because if this is tight, we've got this meeting up nicely, so we can make sure that the torque is coming from the correct tightness of these bolts, rather than this being out of alignment and creating a lot of pressure that way and then getting an incorrect reading on the torque wrench. So I'm going to go into the vehicle. I'm just going to pump that. You may see that. So hopefully you saw that while I was in the vehicle. This would have moved, creating this tight. Now, nothing moves. So I can get a torque wrench on there, make sure those are done to spec. And that is our pads fitted on a 2016 Mercedes CLA. Well, there you have it. That is front brake pads on a Mercedes 2016 CLA. Wheel is back on. All we're going to do is just drop this vehicle down now and torque it up to specs. So now that that's sorted, what we want to do is just make sure we get that clip. And we're all done. So if that was useful, drop me a little like, just give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe. More vehicles to come, more jobs to come. So if you're an avid DIYer or you're just wanting to see how things are done, give this page a follow.